Today.
All right, being dressed in yellow, the Sioux City Cornstalkers right now, they are ranked 25th in the Men's Roller Derby Association. They got the 000s of Hot Shot, also 125 is Young Blood, 130 is now 8 Her. Number 313 is Camel Joe. 314 is Barbarossa. Number 35 is Wolfman. 616 is King Koopa. Number 7 is Prime Time. Number 8 is D-Bags. Number 86 is Anden. Number 916 is Toolshed. And PN15 is John Send Ya Homes. And that's your look at Sioux City.
For the Rebels, we've got 00. That's 1 Nate Stan. 13 up Chuck Norris. 14 Johnson. 25 Bothwell. 3 is Tomka Truck, 41 Big Spoon, 43 Danziger, 44 Meek, 52 Car Bomb, 66 Sir Nix-a-Lot. We've got 70 Doc Flatliner, 71 Ron Scaramy, 72 Les Brawl, 79 Skate Man Spiff, 84 Zechner, and 99 is Cox. And we've got still about 40 seconds. Right now, coaching for the Rebels, Lady Miss Beer, and it looks like they've got Shenanigans hanging out there as their other bench coach.
And I have really enjoyed watching Race City this weekend. Right now, coming into this contest at a 1-2 mark, number 16 in the MRDA. They had a real Donnybrook yesterday against Magic City. They went toe-to-toe like heavyweight prize fighters there. And that one wasn't determined until about midway through the second period. Then Race City rebounded very nicely earlier today against a pretty good Jersey Boys squad. And they won that one by a pretty convincing margin. So they're going to continue to try to build up this momentum that they gained earlier this morning. They got 2 today. They got 4 throughout the course of the weekend. It's a very busy schedule, and we're going to see how Race City can tackle this very thick schedule that they got here this weekend.
Well, it looks like we've got 1 Nate Stand up for the Rebels and Camel Joe up for Sioux City. Camel Joe took MVP yesterday at their bout. Both teams doing the scrimmage there, doing the scrum, fighting it through. Nate's pulling forward and gets knocked to the inside by some good Cornstalker blocking. And it looks like Camel Joe is going to take things away and become the first lead jammer.
And Camel Joe's solid effort yesterday against Cincinnati, looking to do things here offensively and utilizing a very powerful, very tight wall up front. And will get all the way through, and he's already going to notch the grand slam here for Sioux City.
Impressive jamming all the way around. Cornstalkers have had a mixed bag as things go. Nate gets knocked down, is forced to recycle back yet again as Camel Joe knocks on the door one more time, finds the opening, gets chased down, but gets through. And it looks like the Cornstalkers are also going to pick up the first penalty as Prime Time is on his way to the box.
Well, already penalties becoming a factor in this one here, but points still being racked up. Camel Joe already with 15 here on this rotation with 45 seconds left in jam number 1.
Cornstalkers take a second trip to the box as Hot Shot's on his way out, so only 2 blockers on the track right now for the Cornstalkers. And we're going to start a second jam. That's going to be a blocker advantage for the Rebels.
And a quick sprint out of the gates here for the Cornstalkers here with the 19-0 edge. But they do surrender a little bit in the blocking schema as 2 will sit in the box. So a full complement of blockers here for Race City. So we said they are in black if you're watching the stream at home. And, of course, Sioux City will be in the yellow jerseys. And already a quick 19-0 lead for the Iowans.
Looks like Nihilator going up against the tiny little caveman we call Tomka Truck. Tom, with only 2 blockers, pushes his way out in front. He's still on his skates. He is through the pack. He is lead jammer. And it looks like, again, another Cornstalker off to the box. John Send Ya Holmes is send you to the box.
Race City with a really physical style that we saw yesterday against Magic City. And solid blocking up front. A full complement of blockers here on this lead jam for Tomka Truck.
Tomka trying to squeak through, pick up another score or 2. 4 more points on the board for the Rebels. But again, Rebels have full blocking potential right now. 2 blockers in the box for the Cornstalkers. Looks like we've got Doc Flatliner at the line for the Rebels. And it looks like Barbarossa at the line for the Cornstalkers. Doc Flatliner Had the blocker advantage. He's finally through. Who is lead jammer, though? It is Doc Flatliner. Barbarossa got knocked to the outside, trying to figure out what was going on, got stuck. He's forced to recycle all the way back. Doc Flatliner squeaks through, picks up a quick 4-point jam.
And back-to-back lead jams now here for Race City as they're trying to slice into this deficit. And with a lot of open room there, Doc Flatliner gets on through and will score an additional 4. So just like that, with Sioux City notching up the first 19 of this game, Race City counters back with a pair of 8-point scores, and now we got ourselves a 3-point game.
If you're watching at home, Race City is wearing the black jerseys. Cornstalkers wearing the bright yellow. You can't miss them if you were trying to jerseys. Whistle blows. Camel Joe up against Danziger. Danziger, well known as being a referee, has recently joined the Race City Rebels as a men's skater. So when he gets a penalty, he knows why he got the penalty.
He can understand it fluently here. And we'll make it 3 in a row for the lead jams, as Danziger will be your lead jammer for Race City. So trying to flip the scoreboard early on in this one.
And yet again, hot shot back in the box as Danziger squeaks through for a grand slam, and I believe that's going to be a lead change.
Les Brawl and Ron Scaramy doing a great job out there, laying down the foundation.
Ron Scaramy is best known as the first Race City Rebel. He was a Race City Rebel before there was Race City Rebels.
Before Race City Rebels were cool.
Danziger pushes his way up to the front and calls the jam, picking up 4 more points for the Rebels. Looks like we're getting Tom Kachuk to the line for the Rebels. Then looks like he'll be going up against Annihilator again. Big thank you to the Fort Wayne Coliseum for being such great hosts here today. Annihilator pushing his way to the front, gets knocked to the inside. Tomka recycles all the way back. Annihilator picks up a track cut, and he is off to the box, so we have ourselves a power jam.
And this is how Race City was able to stay toe-to-toe with Magic City on Friday by capitalizing on the jammer miscues. And now they have a chance to extend this lead a little bit. And once again, with a full complement of blockers, been very clean contest so far for the defensive walls here for Race City.
Race City hasn't really had any penalty troubles yet, and that is good news for them. In the last bout at halftime, both teams had 23 penalties each, but Race City had theirs spread across the skaters, whereas the other team did not. They had them actually really concentrate on skaters. Tom squeaking his way through, pushing to the front.
With Hot Shot and Prime Time doing their best to knock them down, and they will. And
Tom's going to go down, but he's going to tap out. A few more on the board, 30-19 for those of you watching at home.
So a 30-0 run now here for the Race City Rebels. Of course, great sponsors taking care of your action here this weekend at Spring Roll, including Persephone's Treasures. Of course, they got custom apparel and vinyl decals. They can customize your derby shorts, uniforms, scrimmage tees, and even beer koozies. I did that myself. Go visit them over at the table there at Persephone's.
A couple years ago, they were kind enough to help me out with some
that's right.
vinyl stickers. Your lead jammer right now, Doc Flatliner for the Rebels. Barbarossa is out there skating right now for the Cornstalkers.
Well, 5 lead jams in a row now here for Race City as they've really stretched open this margin. And Flatliner, as we said, the MVP yesterday for the Race City Rebels against Magic City. First time with the star on the helmet here, and nice defensive work here by Sioux City. And that's going to force the call-off of the jam, so nice recovery there by the Cornstalkers. And it looks like we'll get the official collection here. Looks like four.
Four in the sky. Four in the sky. All right, looks like Camel Joe at the line up against Danziger.
And I love this matchup right here. Two top-notch jammers. And they're very patient, just trying to take their time and find that open slot, take advantage of opportunity. And, of course, the wall's being set up. Danziger thinks he's got the inside step, but gets into a collision.
Forced to recycle back, and both jammers are out there. Camel Joe finds the inside line, though, and he becomes lead jammer.
Well, after 5 jams without lead, now a chance for Sioux City to cut back into this one. But Danziger fast on the skates here, trying to get the advantage.
Camel Joe working his way back in, is going to tap out. Picking up 2 points. First points they've had in how many jams?
Well, in 5 in about a 7-minute stretch, so that scoreless streak now snapped. And within striking distance, the deficit only a baker's dozen.
All right, we've got one Nate Stand at the line up against Annihilator. Annihilator for the Cornstalkers, Nate for the Rebels. Nate's birthday was just the other day on Thursday.
All right, happy belated birthday.
He shares a birthday with George Lucas. Stupid trivia, I know. Nate gets forced to the outside, recycles, pushes his way back in. Annihilator forced to recycle all the way back. As Nate is working the front of the pack really well, gets through, he is lead jammer.
And what needed to do, prime time with a big shot there, sending him down. But now here's Sioux City trying to notch up a little bit of a defensive wall up front. With one Nate Stand trying to get around, pushing his way forward.
Les and Ron were doing a good job pushing Annihilator back. And a giant tie up there in turn number 3. Looks like, again, another couple of the Cornstalkers out to the box.
Yeah, it looks like multiplayer block being called here against the Cornstalkers. And in the process, points being racked up here by one Nate Stand.
So right now, only 2 blockers on the track right now for Nate to face, where there's still 4. And Annihilator's off to the box for a power jam. So 2 in front, 5 in the back. We call that the minivan. And Nate is off to the box, so it's going to be a reverse power jam.
So what could have been opportunity with a 4-2 blocker advantage? We flip things back over.
Oh, so he was returned to the track, though, so Nate was not in the box, although he did go there. We are back to a full pack. All 8 blockers on the track. Nate working his way up against the Cornstalkers again. And again, another penalty for the Cornstalkers. Looks like Les Brawl is also going to join him there. Les was also a referee who jumped on over. There's a lot of men's skaters who were once referees who became skaters.
We all evolve as we grow older and wiser in our years. And when it was all said and done, looks like it's going to be 10 points by one Nate Stand, extending this lead now to 44-21. Here's what I've liked so far out of Race City. It's not been all dependent on one particular jammer. The even scoring that we've seen with the 4-jammer rotation right now. Tom Katruck, Doc Flatliner with 12 points apiece. One Nate Stand with 10 points. Dan Singer with 6 points. On the other side of the ledger, it's been the Camel Joe show. He's got all 21 points.
Right now we've got Tom back at the line, speaking of jammers, and Barbarossa is through. He becomes lead jammer. And again, another penalty for the Cornstalkers. All right, they call the jam. 44-21 on the board right now, 17:40 left in the period.
And, of course, plenty of time for you still to participate if you are here at the Allen County War Memorial. In our raffle basket drawing, of course, Fort Wayne Derby girls are selling raffle tickets for swag right now. $1 for one ticket, or for a better value, greater chance of winning, you can purchase an arm length full of raffle tickets for $5. The drawing will be held at the end of game, well, or final game.
Doc Flatliner untouched on the outside is your lead jammer. Now a little bit of Doc Flatliner trivia. His cousin is actually here selling artwork. He's Howie Rolls over on track number 1. Check out some of his derby artwork as Doc Flatliner pushes his way through, picking up a grand slam. Doc Flatliner has a big fan club over there in turn number 3 right now, including his wife, his daughter.
Well, here's your chance to make some noise as he comes around you there in turn number 3. As Flatliner will get on through, and he will call off the jam. And in Race City, the Rebels keep a rolling along here right now with the 32-point advantage. 16 and a half minutes left here in period number 1.
Looks like Danziger is at the line for the Rebels. And it looks like he's going to be going up against Annihilator, I believe. I want to do a huge shout out to all the volunteers who helped make this event happen, the NSOs, and just everyone around who helps make it happen, because these bouts don't just happen. The Fort Wayne Derby Girls helped organize things. Annihilator knocked to the outside, forced to recycle all the way back.
And, of course, the 6th year here of Spring Roll, getting better and better with each and every passing year. And it's a well-oiled machine that the Fort Wayne Derby Girls are doing, as we see Danziger as your lead jammer for Race City.
Annihilator still trying to make his way through the pack, getting knocked around by Car Bomb with a little bit of help there from Ron Scaramy. Les Brawl holding the front of the pack, and he's going to be the last thing that Annihilator has to go through. Danziger finds the inside line, makes it through on his scoring pass, and he is going to call the jam, increasing Race City Rebels' lead. $57-21 on the board right now, just over 15 minutes left in the period.
23-point run right now here for Race City, as we had ourselves a very, very tight contest early on, and it is still tight, as we see once again the pack advantage being given here to Race City with the 1 blocker advantage, with 1 Nate Stand donning the star for Race City, and it's Barbarossa for Sioux City.
Zechner knocking them out there, taking Barbarossa to the outside, forcing him to recycle back. They're going to call the jam, preventing Race City from picking up any more points. Tomka heading the line for the Rebels. Looks like he'll be going up against Camel Joe. Again, very impressive blocking going out there. The Rebels are holding a wall, and they're not picking up penalties, and that is always, the discipline to not get the penalties is outstanding.
And that's what we've seen out of Race City the last couple of years. As we said, they've been evolving as a franchise, getting those years of Derby experience under their belt, and it's resulted in some cleaner play as the years have progressed.
Right now, Tomka pushing his way forward. He's only got 2 blockers ahead of him. 1, and then he finally makes his way through. He is lead jammer. Right behind him, though, Camel Joe. And Tom's going to call the jam. All right, heading to the line. Looks like we're going to have Doc Flatliner again. So get your kazoos and cowbells ready. And he'll be going up against Barbarossa. The reason I mentioned the cowbells and the kazoos is Doc Flatliner's dad brings like a crate of these noisemakers to every bout.
Right? Hot shot, laying down some hot shots in the back of that pack, and finally getting through. 3rd lead jam here for Sioux City, and it is Barbarossa as your lead jammer for the Cornstalkers.
Doc Flatliner finally through, chasing down Barbarossa, so Barbarossa will have to make quick work of the pack if he wants to put some points on the board, and he dances around the outside, calls it, and does pick up 4 for the Cornstalkers.
Yeah, nice collection of points. It had been a long scoring drought there for the Cornstalkers, about another 8 minutes without a point there. So a nice rebound here by Sioux City, keeping this in about the same clip, 57-25 with 12:20 left to go here in the first period of play. Empty box right now, as we see both sides with the full complement of blockers.
Looks like we've got Danziger at the line up against Annihilator. Derby action underway. Both jammers trying to go up the middle right now. On the outside, getting shut down, Annihilator. Blocking out of bounds, picked up on Annihilator. So power jam again for the Rebels. Danziger gets knocked out by Primetime, gets back up, gets back in.
Second power jam here for the Race City Rebels. As they're looking to widen open, and now finally it is Danziger as officially your lead jammer. So the power jam forthcoming.
Nice little jammer action there, spinning around, staying in. Solid hit there from Primetime. Again, Danziger trying to move his way forward. Annihilator getting knocked on there. Ron Scaramy and Bothwell holding them back. And Danziger's going to tap out. 4 more points on the board on that pass for the Rebels.
4 hard-earned points right there by Race City. Danziger now with 10 in this contest. Flatliner leading the charge for Race City with 21. Tonka Truck with 12. Run Nate Stand with 10 points for Race City.
Speaking of one Nate Stand, he is at the line up against Camel Joe for the Cornstalkers. Camel Joe started on the inside, moved to the outside. Nate's pretty much been working the inside the whole time. He's up front. He is lead jammer. Johnson with the big block there. Camel Joe finds the outside line. He is out in front. Nick's a lot, not going to let him by easy. Nate working his way to the front, trying to get past one more time. And he's going to call the jam. He does let Camel Joe get 2 points, though.
Nice work by Johnson, Bothwell, Sir Nick-Slot, also Les Brawl doing a nice job up front here. So Race City controlling the packs and making things happen here for the Rebel Jammers. And they continue to roll on here right now. The lead at 38 points with under 10 minutes left to go here in the first period.
Now, is it going to be Tomka or is it going to be Doc Flatliner? That is the question. Doc's going to dive off. Looks like they'll be taking on Barbarossa. And on the inside, Tomka Truck is your lead jammer. Barbarossa finding the hole, finally squeaking his way through. Tom tight and low back into the pack, dancing his way through. Is going to tap out. Picking up a quick 2 points. Rebels extend the lead now on the board. It looks like it will be, I don't know if they picked up those 2 points yet, but 69 likely, or is it 67?
We will find out here shortly as the officials are conferring with each other, but we're going to hold it at 50 points right now as the differential goes. And that's looks like what we're going to hold it at as jam number 18 will get underway. Very fast pace so far in this contest.
All right, Doc Flatliner working his way back and forth for the Rebels. He'll be taking on Toolshed. I believe this is Toolshed's first time at the line for the Cornstalkers. Always important to mix things up a little. Doc squeezes out in front, and he is lead jammer. Another little bit of trivia. His brother isn't over cheering for him right now because his brother's over on the other track. He's like a destroyer for Chicago's Bruise Brothers.
Yeah, and they got a Donnybrook going on over there. Rock City leading Chicago right now, 104-54. More whistles being assessed, and it looks like, yes, a power jam now coming here to Race City.
Grand slam on the board again for Doc Flatliner as he sets back up. Right now, Race City do a good job of pinning the goat in the back of the pack there. Good solid blocking, just holding back that one blocker, forcing the Cornstalkers to stretch out, and another 5 on the board for Doc Flatliner. Back block called on Zechner, so he's off to the box. But again, still not a lot of penalties for the Rebels.
Looks like when it was all said and done, official point count there on that rotation looks to be 15 there for the Race City Rebels.
Current score on the board, by the way, 82-27 with just under 7 minutes left.
course, official hotel here of Spring Roll 2015, the Holiday Inn. We want to thank them very much for being the official hotel here of Spring Roll 2015.
The Hotel Motel Holiday Inn. Danziger at the line for the Rebels in a power jam situation with
That's
Toolshed.
what I've heard. I'm not sure about that. Yeah.
Toolshed coming out of the box. And we got a track cut being called on Toolshed again, so he is back off for the power jam extends for Danziger, who's getting a little bit of a cornstalker blocking quagmire. He is all the way out in front, and they got to let him go. He is lead jammer. And again, there's only 2 blockers on the track for the cornstalkers as they fill up the penalty box with 2 in front, 5 in back, another minivan situation.
And once again, looking to take advantage, full complement out there, only 2 to slow down Danziger. And he will get on through 10 so far on this rotation.
Zechner resets. Again, only 2 blockers on the track for the cornstalkers. Working his way out front, and they have to let him go because of the 20-foot rule. And we've got 2 jammers as Meek makes his way off to the box for the first time. Toolshed getting shut down by Sir Nix-a-Lot, who knocks him down and gets knocked down himself. And a back block gets called on that hit. Looks like that goes off on Barbarossa to the box.
So when the dust had settled, it looks like it's going to be 14 collected there by Danziger. And once again, the scoring streak continues here for Race City right now, notching up 35 points uncontested here in the last 4 rotations.
Camel Joe at the line up against 1 Nate Stand. Both have 2 blockers because the box is full of blocking. They can't fit another blocker in there at the moment. Nate pushing right up the middle is lead jammer. Camel Joe forced out by, looks like that was Johnson who did the hit there with a little help from Sir Nix-a-Lot. And Nate is going to call the jam, further extending the Rebels' lead. They're just shy of 100 with 99 to 27 on the board with 4.5 left in the period. Stick around for the next bout here on this track. That will be the Naptown Roller Girls facing the home team, the Fort Wayne Derby Girls.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one. Still a lot of great games on both tracks here for the remainder of the day. And it looks like we will have ourselves a timeout being taken here by Sioux City with 4:13 left to go here in the first period. 99 to 27, Race City Rebels on top. Of course,
who is this timeout brought to you by?
All right, well, let's talk about Vital Skates. We know Derby because we do Derby.
I've got a little bit of Derby trivia about Vital Skates.
Why don't you educate me, my friend?
Bothwell, who's blocking out there, runs Vital Skates. Bothwell is the one who is skating for the Race City Rebels. He's a blocker.
Fantastic. Well, go on over there and visit them. We also want to say hello to Derby for All, KC, taking you to the next level. And, of course, we're seeing 17 bouts this weekend featured from the Men's Roller Derby Association, and they've got their championships coming up in October. It's going to be back in St. Louis for the second time. St. Louis Gatekeepers will host the 2015 MRDA Championships. It's called the River City Rumble, taking place October 17th through the 18th. Of course, at beautiful Queenie Park in Baldwin, Missouri, the suburb of St. Louis. That's my home track. I mean, it's a beautiful facility, and I hope you all get a chance to visit it because the first MRDA championships that we had there 3 years ago was gateway to the best. It was a fantastic time. We saw some incredible derby and a 1-point championship in the MRDA.
It was a fun time. I was out there announcing. You guys were great hosts.
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We always like to be good hosts there.
All right, it looks like Tom is your lead jammer right now for this one. Annihilator is knocked out, charges back in, and he's just going to push Car Bomb there with the block, pushing him out. Car Bomb gets taken down by John Senya Holmes, but not before Tom Kachuk can pick up a grand slam, pushing the Rebels over that 100-point mark. Tom pushing again, trying to make his way through as the Rebels do a solid job of blocking Annihilator. Tom dancing back and forth, finally squeezes his way through, picking up yet another 5 points.
And, of course, the sign in the corner says, nice.
Nice. Annihilator again knocked back, forced to recycle all the way to the back of the pack. As Tom again resets and spins around, stays in. Another 5 on the board for Tomka. He credits it all to his red roller derby skates. Shiny red rollers. Do not look directly at them. If he clicks them together 3 times and says there's no place like Jammerline.
Instantly, poof, back into the reality here. And calling this jam off. Another fine rotation there by Tomka Truck. He has 5 lead jams here so far in this contest. Unofficially, if my South City St. Louis math is correct, we are going to give him, let's call it 32 points so far in this contest, with another 15 actually being notched up there by Race City. Right now holding on to the 114-27 lead, 2:20 left here in the first period of play. And as we said, this rally continues on, 6 straight lead jams for Race City.
All right, with 2:13 left on the track, Doc Flatliner untouched on the inside becomes your lead jammer as Camel Joe trying to make his way past. Good recycle blocking, but not good enough to prevent him from getting past. Doc makes his way around to the front of the pack, and he's going to call it.
Not much one could do in that situation there.
Looks like we're going to have an official timeout. Again, all the way around, great physical blocking. Rebels still have very few penalties compared to the Cornstalkers. Cornstalkers are going to have to look at that in the second half.
Yeah, I'm going to have to clean it up quite tremendously, yes. Too many trips there into the penalty box, but that's what halftime is all about, to reassess things, to reconfigure things, to essentially talk things over, find out what went well, and what things can be modified and improved on. So, of course, the brain trust of Sioux City. And we want to mention Sioux City because they are back into the mix. It's been 3 years since they've been here at Spring Roll, so we are excited about seeing the Cornstalkers back here in Fort Wayne, enjoying the trip here so far. A chance for them to prove themselves here in the MRDA. And they've had a tough docket that they have had in front of them here with Cincinnati and, of course, Race City, teams that are comparably higher in them in the rankings. And so it's always going to be a bit of a challenge when you take on a league that's higher ranked in about 10 positions here. But Sioux City is a game-challenging squad that they definitely don't mind being tested. And that's how teams get better, when they face tougher competition out there. So I give Sioux City a lot of credit. They have not surrendered at all in this one. They did not surrender earlier on against Cincinnati in what was a very solid output that they had there. So I love to see the progression here of teams that are learning and growing and building with invitationals like this. It's not all that often when you get MRDA squads all together here at a place like Spring Roll where you can get 3, and in the case of Race City, 4 quality bouts in the course of a weekend. There's a lot of thought that's put behind as well as to who you're going to be playing in the weekend.
Well, you have to sit there and you also have to pick who's going to be skating against which team, because you don't want to sit there and send someone or a stronger squad against a weaker team just to wear out your skaters, because if they burn out against one team and they have a harder team later, there's a lot when it comes to a tournament where that you have to think about is how to move your skaters around.
You do so much in such a short amount of time, and then when you're playing the quality caliber of competition here, every jam is important, and it will drain you by the end of the weekend here. So we will see how the gas tank looks here for both squads, especially Race City, as they've got their second bout here today and one coming up tomorrow. And it looks like our official timeout, we were just making sure that all the penalties and all the points were accounted for. So it looks like everything is back underway here, and with the scoreboard adjustment, still going to read a 122-27, Race City on top, 150 left here in the first period.
All right. Now, when you're talking about Cincinnati and Race City, they're practically the same team, because Cincinnati broke off of Race City with their blessing, because they were there, but they are very similar paced teams. So when you're watching them play, it's very similar. Danziger jamming out there for the Rebels right now. He's going up against Toolshed. Toolshed trying to find the outside, goes down and slides out on his belly. Danziger way out in front. He is lead jammer. Good block there by Johnson, knocking Toolshed out. Danziger getting knocked to the outside, forced to recycle a little bit back. Les Brawl on his way to the penalty box. He should know better. He used to be a referee also. And around the outside, Danziger picking up 5 points. Finally through the pack himself. Toolshed gets out of the toolbox, if you will, that we call the pack. Right now, Danziger trying for the inside is going to tap out with just 32 seconds left in the period. We'll get one more jam out of this. Looks like we've got Camel Joe already waiting with no one else. He was out there before anyone else could even touch him. He'll be going up against one Nate Stand. All right, with 3 seconds left in the period, the jam is underway. We are into just jam time. One Nate Stand on the outside is your lead jammer. Camel Joe stuck there right now by Car Bomb. Right now it's Zechner and Ron Scaramy there holding him back. Tight and low, One Night Stand back into the pack, through the pack. Making it look easy, 5 more points on the board. We know it's not easy, but when you can get tight and low as he can. Camel Joe finally threw his first pass. Nate sets up, impacts the pack, and he's going to call the jam with 4 more points. And we are into halftime. Unofficial score, and we'll have that checked, is 139-27 in favor of the Race City Rebels with a 112-point lead.
Well, we've talked about rallies in the